I'm Megan, and thank you for being here. The title of this video probably tells you a little bit about my age and the stages of my life, but you're here for the same reasons that I am, which is that we're experiencing menopause. And menopause is very much related to the health of our adrenal glands. So, in that way, this practice can be very helpful for adrenal fatigue or any sort of adrenal exhaustion as well. And what I find with my own menopausal symptoms is that when I am either exhausted or stressed, they're absolutely highlighted. By the way, alcohol makes them worse as well. But these breathing practices, the breathing practice we're going to do in the beginning is what I call my acute savior for hot flashes. And then we're also going to do 2 restorative poses that I do more as a maintenance to keep my adrenal glands healthy and just keep them vital. So for the restorative, if you're going to join me for that, you're going to want a big stack of blankets, 2 balls, and I've got a washcloth to put on top of the balls, some yoga blocks, and if you have a bolster, grab it. If you don't have a bolster, grab an extra nice thick blanket or some pillows off your bed will do well too. But we'll start seated and we'll come into a posture where we're comfortable, so that may well be for you being in a chair. And take a moment. I'd invite you to close your eyes if you're comfortable doing that. And just enter your body. Feel the space of your body. So a big thing with menopause too is I like to think of it as a metamorphosis. So how do we place ourselves in menopause? Is it this horrible thing we have to go through? Or can we give it a little bit of a positive spin? So my ideal image that I come up with is a butterfly. And that butterfly goes into its cocoon stage. So the menopause itself is symbolic of the cocoon stage, but it comes out and it can fly. And in many of the spiritual traditions, you will find that for women, menopause is actually considered our time where we grow our wings and are able to fly into our spiritual realm of life. So consider that as we do this practice. But now come into your breath, because breath is life. And begin to just feel your breath through your nostrils. And I'll invite you to breathe in through your nostrils. And if it's more comfortable, you can breathe out your mouth. But if it works for you, breathe in and out of your nose. Connect with the coolness of your breath in. Can you sense that nice, cool air touching the edges of your nose? Maybe you'll even notice that you can feel it more on one side of the nose than the other. And if you can feel the coolness, also notice the warmth of the breath as it leaves your body, because your body warms the temperature of the breath. And what we need to do with the adrenal glands and hot flashes is think of giving them some restorative time, some cooling off, right? Some quiet, cool time. So we actually use this idea of temperature in our breath along with what we call the lunar breath. So you're going to take your right hand, and just to make it comfortable for yourself, just practice once or twice putting your thumb on your right nostril and your pinky finger on your left nostril. Just nice and soft. See how that feels. Just gently touching the cartilage to close one nostril and the other. So we go to do the breathing. What we'll be doing is we'll be breathing in the left nostril, which is your cooling channel. We call your Ida Nadi in yoga. It's related to the lunar side of our conscious being. And the right nostril is our Pingala Nadi, and it's related to our solar side, so heating. And what we're doing is trying to activate that cooling channel. In addition to that, you can feel the actual temperature of the air. So it would look a little bit like this. And if you breathe, you're going to plug your right nostril, breathe in your left. And if it's comfortable for you, you're going to plug your left and breathe out your right. So before we add any imagery or anything else, find the mechanics for yourself. This idea of breathing in the left nostril, fully, and you can still feel that cool air. There's your cooling channel, and breathing out the right, and sense that warm air leaving your body. So what we know now is, especially if we experience hot flashes at night, you can continue and just practice. We call those night sweats, and night sweats are absolutely part of the reason for those is an imbalance in the adrenal glands. And the other thing I could tell you is that if you're having hot flashes during the day, notice if you feel stressed or wound up, because that also is the adrenal glands, or a type of fatigue in the adrenal glands that are really initiating those hot flashes. So this breathing technique is very helpful for that. But now we're going to add some imagery for the adrenal glands. So continue to breathe in your left and out your right. But next time you breathe in your left, picture about the center of your back, or if you went a hand's distance above the back of your pelvis, that's where your adrenal glands are. They sit nicely right on top of your two kidneys, so one on either side. And we use the imagery of anatomy, just imagining those sitting on your kidneys. And breathe in through your left nostril. And as you do so, see yourself sending that cool air into your right and left adrenal gland. Touch that space with the cool air, plug your left nostril, and then breathe out your right nostril, as if you're releasing any heat, any imbalance, any stagnation or exhaustion from the adrenal glands on the exhale. So we inhale, bringing that vital cooling air in through the left nostril. Breathe out, going out the right, releasing any heat from the adrenal glands. So we're using this practice of imagery. You can picture those glands going at your own speed. You might notice that your breath begins to get a little bit longer and slower and sweeter. And your mind will wander off, that's normal. But continue to think of nourishing, replenishing with that cool air, every breath in, right to your adrenal glands. You could give some to your kidneys too if you have an extra overflow. And then anything unwanted, including that idea of heat, exhaustion, we breathe out on the exhale through the right. So there's one more thing that I add for myself, whether I do this. In fact, this morning I actually had a hot flash in meditation, and this was fabulous, a good experience for me. But I do this at night, is we add this concept of color and light. So if you're able to see color, we want to go towards the cooling colors. It could be just a white light or blue. Blue is very cooling and calming. So imagine as you're breathing in a white or blue light coming in through your left nostril. And then maybe it's just that cool breeze coming in. Like you could feel it on your skin, feel it on your nostrils, and bring it down to your adrenal glands. And then as we breathe out, see yourself breathing out red or orange or any colors associated with heat and fire. We're releasing that from the adrenals. So if you're able to picture color, you can use that as part of the quality in this meditation or in this breathing technique. It's both. Breathing in the left, see that blue or white light coming down into the kidneys and the adrenal glands. Breathing out the right nostril, picturing the red, the orange, the heat as it escapes with that warm breath out. I'm going to leave you for about 30 seconds, maybe 5 to 6 rounds of breath. Just do this on your own. And if your mind wanders off, come back. But see if you can think of this as harmonizing and accepting part of your metamorphosis coming into this spiritual chapter of our lives. Just connecting with your own body in any way that it's inviting you to, whether it is through just the physical sensations and temperatures of the breath, the colors that you can create, the image of your adrenal glands. And you can go get a picture and look at, what do your adrenal glands look like? How big are they? Where do they sit on your kidneys? Or this idea of this passage, this rite of passage that we get to go through, that we are blessed to go through. Take your last round. And just release your hand down, let your arm relax. So that lunar breath can be used anytime when you're actually experiencing the hot flash, as I did this morning in meditation, or as I often do at night when I have night sweats. But now we're going to go into a couple of postures that are really more for maintenance, for keeping ourselves out of that state of exhaustion and stress that can really aggravate menopause. So, and again, great for adrenal fatigue as well. So we're gonna build ourselves a beach chair here. Welcome to the beach. And your 2 blocks, you're gonna take your 2 blocks. Milo is gonna be kind enough to assist me. The one will go on the big side, so I call that Papa Bear, and the second one's on Mama Bear, the second side. You can take your bolster, or if you don't have a bolster would go like that. If you don't have a bolster, you can take a blanket and put a blanket or several blankets right on top of the block. So that works really well as long as the blanket is nice and thick. So show it both ways, but I'm going to build my beach chair. Putting this right on there so it feels stable. And we're going to be taking the legs out in front of us. We want the low back to be relaxed. So if you're extending your legs, I really encourage you to take an extra blanket, a pillow, something underneath your knees so that your low back stays relaxed. Then keep those balls handy. So these are about the size of a tennis ball, but they're a lot softer. You may want to go smaller than this. And what we're doing is we're going to put them right about, so if you think about a hand's distance up from your waistline, or you can feel the back of your pelvic bone, that's where those balls are going to go on either side of the spine. It doesn't need to be an exact location. We're just doing this for basically the memory, the feeling sensation. So the balls can help us to stay present in the area of the adrenal glands. So I'm going to take those 2 balls, much bigger than our actual adrenal glands, right? But I'm going to put them behind me with a cloth on it just to help hold them. If you do this often, what you can do is put the 2 balls in a sock. Makes it a little bit easier. And then I'm going to lean back into my beach chair. So my legs are relaxed. I've got the blanket. You might even want more blanket. You could cover yourself if you're not having a hot flash. But take your arms to your sides and begin to land in this position. So notice you're creating a little bit of expansion through the front body and the compression in the back body. And in those compressive forces, land and locate yourself right where the balls are. And keep your presence in those adrenal glands. And where the breathing technique was really based off of breathing out heat for the hot flash, now we just want to allow ourselves to release stress, to ground, to feel safe in our bodies. And part of the safety of our bodies is acceptance of part of this metamorphosis. Our skin changes, we get wrinkles, right? But what's inside, we still need to care for it, and we still need to be loving and kind to the external part of our body. So acceptance there of what I like to call our outer skin and fascial tissue, right? Our perifascial tissue, and however that looks at this age. But then come into your toes and begin to breathe. And as you breathe in, breathe from your feet all the way to where you feel those balls into your adrenal glands. So think of grounding and nurturing your adrenal glands. We want to relax them. And as you breathe out, just stay present in the adrenal glands. If there is any pain or discomfort in your back, you can also do this with your legs bent. And then the upside of this is that you can feel your feet on the floor. I like to let my knees fall together. So I'm actually going to go into that. I'm finding it's more comfortable for me right now. And breathe from your feet in. Feel the earth. Feel the earth on the backs of your legs. So you're landing in whatever parts of your body are touching the ground. The feet, the legs, the pelvis. And then bring that grounded energy, that earth energy, right into your adrenal glands. And as you breathe out, stay present in that space and just feel the way your body naturally will release into gravity, as if those balls are coming right into the adrenal glands and giving them a nice, gentle hug. So with each breath out, those compressive forces are just giving a gentle little press into your adrenal glands. I'm not trying to stimulate necessarily in any way, but just using it for feedback and staying present in the space of your body. Let's take about 5 to 8 more rounds of breath. And you're breathing from your feet through your legs and the pelvis into the adrenal glands on the breath in. Breathing out, just stay present in your adrenal glands. If you were successful using temperature or color, you can also do that. You could still think of bringing the white or blue light into your adrenal glands, but up your legs this time. Or just that coolness. Mostly we're just trying to create a space of restoration, and peace, and safety. But particularly for the adrenals. You might just take a moment in these last few breaths to see, are there any muscles in your body that are fighting you? And can you just ask them, send the invitation to let them release? Trust that your bones will hold you in this space. And being present in the glands. Take your last 3 breaths. And if you find that this position is physically comfortable for you, then you may just do this one. Otherwise, we're going to do a second position. And know that you don't have to do this whole practice. Like I said, the breathing technique might be done on its own in the middle of the night. But this is just more of a preventative. So as you're ready to come up, you might want to roll to one side first. Instead of sitting up, take your time. And we're going to switch to a different position. We're going to keep the bolster just as it is, though. So try not to shake your snow globe. Move very slow. Set the balls aside. And we're going to take a wide leg position. So if your knees in this compressed position are not comfortable, you can also do this with your legs extended. And then what you're going to need to do with the extended legs, or maybe even not the extended legs, is to put some more blankets or bolsters in here to get the props closer to your body so you're not forcing yourself into a fold. You can also bend your knees in this position. So restorative yoga is not about stretching the body. It's about releasing and coming into what we say is our parasympathetic. And our parasympathetic system is where we get that rest and digest, even for the adrenal glands. So we could be here. I'm going to show it once again with the knees bent. That's my preferred position. So knees bent. I get to look at Milo a little bit. But I do like to take the extra blanket and put it right in the space between my belly and my thighs. So you may have noticed that it's very common for women in menopause to get what I like to call the Buddha belly. It's okay. Just believe that as life goes on, we might need those extra pounds someday. That's what I like to remind myself. So come down and rest your head. If your head's not touching comfortably, again, bring in any blankets to support your head, your body, and just let your arms drape. Find the physical position first. If you're more comfortable resting on one cheek or the other, please do that. I will so you can hear me. But now notice the spaciousness of the back body and the way the front body is compressing and releasing into your supports. So this is taking us into a full access pass of the adrenal glands. Sense the stretching that is put on that space in your backside. And also notice the gentle compression in the front. We're going to add a little bit more on here in the form of coming into our ovaries. And even if you physically don't have your ovaries, energetically they're there. You can still talk to them. So this one, we're going to add the breathing by starting at the base of the spine. Just feel anywhere around your sits bones, your pelvic floor area. You might feel a nice little stretch in that area. And see if you can locate yourself, if you feel safe, in the base of your spine. And as you breathe in, bring the breath again into the adrenal glands. Sense that they feel grounded and safe, spacious. And at the top of the inhale, you're pausing to just be present in the space of the adrenal glands, maybe the kidneys. And then on the breath out, imagine the breath is able to orbit and come around your whole body. So you're going to take the breath on the exhalation from the adrenal glands, allow it to come all the way up your spine, through the crown of the head, back down the front body, where it goes right to your ovaries. So the bottom of the exhalation, we land in our ovaries and hold our awareness at that point. And then you start the next cycle, breathing in from the base of the spine to the adrenal glands. Pause at the top of the inhale to honor the adrenal glands, let them relax. Breathe out, send the breath up the spine, around the crown of the head, down the front body, even through your heart, and back down into the ovaries. Pausing at the bottom of the exhale to honor your ovaries, this beautiful space in the womb. And the ovaries are really, I had the pleasure of seeing what they look like in a course, and they look like beautiful little brain corals. So if that's an image that you want to pull up in your mind that helps you to see them, breathing in, feel the spaciousness that your breath can create, and you're breathing to your backside now. So physically, try to breathe into the backs of the lungs. Breathing out, bring the breath around, let it orbit around the body through the crown of the head, coming back into the ovaries. If you are resting on one cheek, you might want to turn your head and go the other way just to give your neck equal time as we finish the second half of this posture. When the mind gets distracted, either by things outside of you or its own thoughts, even thoughts will come through like, is this working? Is this worth my time? That's all normal. Trust that your body's going to take exactly what it needs out of this. And you can help it just by being positive about this change itself. Breathing in We come into the adrenal glands, enter that space, breathe out all the way around the body back to your ovaries. You can sense the way that your front body is completely supported, the back body is open. Maybe take 2 more rounds of breath. And turn your head back to the center if you are turned one way or the other. Use your hands to slowly walk yourself back up. And the last thing we'll do is just a gentle movement for the spine. And you can stay in this position if it suits you, putting a block or bolster underneath your knees, or take the legs out in front of you. We're just going to do a little seated cat-cow. So breathing in, come forward. I'm breathing out, going back. And think of the juiciness that you just created in your adrenal glands, honoring your ovaries, and you're just taking them for a gentle ride. Coming forward and back. Last round. Thank you for joining me. I do hope that both the practice and my intention of perhaps introducing you to a new model of menopause, a bit more positive than how it's generally presented to most women, is helpful to you. That this is a time for a spiritual awakening, and it's an invitation for you to go into a more spiritual space and time in your life. And it's always an honor, as my mom would say, to be on the right side of the grass, no matter what age we are. Peace, joy, love, and light.